Buddy, my name is Nicholas Rackley, and I am at Bluffton High School here. One of the things that we were talking about was gamification, so I have constructed this CIA versus KGB gamification type of simulation for kids to do with the Cold War. The Cold War is a massive topic that covers all sorts of different things, from Vietnam to Korea to different types of nuclear issues, all of the different Russian issues, glasnost, perestroika, and the like. So, as we don't have a ton of time to explore every facet of the Cold War, what I have built is a bunch of objectives that talk about a lot of the other nuanced parts of the Cold War. So, you'll have to apologize. I've got some kind of weird cough going. So I will try and keep the coughing to a minimum as we keep going here. So let's begin. So the overview, again, following the United States and the Soviet Union, the superpowers are locked in a global structure and struggle for influence. When we talk about the two major influences that are going to try and keep these countries at odds with each other, one is the CIA for the United States, the other is the KGB. Again, a lot of these are going to organize spy missions, sabotage, counterintelligence efforts, overthrowing governments, and supporting governments and coups across the world. This simulation, again, is going to have an immersive part for students and talk about the complexities of intelligence and warfare, including deciphering codes, capturing enemy operatives, gathering vital information, and using strategic gameplay so that students can not only play during the day, but also at night and with their fellow CIA and KGB agents. So the primary goal, each student will be given one of these different types of lanyards, and with those lanyards, they will be known as a certain type of operative, and those lanyards have a playing card in them. And the goal again is to either tag somebody with a clothesline clip, or to uh, or to get them with a gotcha card. So again, this is supposed to give them that heightened sense of the world possibly someone's out to get them, just like the Cold War era. We didn't know what was going to happen at any point in time, but we knew it was going to happen at some point in time. There are lots of side objectives. There will be ciphers, so we have different like rotary ciphers. We have different even audio ciphers with Morse code, and then one of the other big ones is this breakout EDU tool, which I found was pretty interesting that you had on our Canvas link, which is awesome. We have three of these, so that's pretty cool. Love to see it. And then we also have different objectives. I use this as an interdisciplinary type of simulation. So we do this with the biology department, the English department, our chemistry department, our languages, because there's something I can use for all sorts of different parts here. So with like our math department, we use like geometry and triangulation for things like YouTube pilots being downed, working on rocketry with the space race, and other objectives like that that can get them points. Those are what are known as completing mission objectives. We also have capturing or eliminating VIP targets. I have former students that are VIP targets, like that will pretend to be Fidel Castro or Che Guevara or John F. Kennedy or things of that nature, so that there's even more buy in there. It's more of a lived experience, which is pretty cool. The winning team ends up winning a lot of bonus points, so there's a lot of buy in from not even the higher level learners, but also the mid and lower level learners. Specific bonus points are determined based on participation. So if everybody participates, I tend to give out bonus points for everybody, not just those that worked. The big four rules that I really make sure that I want these kids to do is number one, all of the Bluffton handbook rules and policies, teacher expectations. So I sent out an email to all of my teachers, basically explaining to them what the rules are, how they should be prepared. Some of my teachers even get into it with me. They'll clip kids. I think, or they want to clip kids, I should say, and they're looking for some gotcha cards and some things that I can provide for them, and what objectives they can do to also get some extra practice in. I've kind of designated that there will be a designated time to play. So periods 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. So not lunch. And again, we want to keep lunch, away from these kinds of things. Before 7 p.m. or after 4 p.m. So if you're still in the building, that's a big thing. Bathrooms and classrooms are safe zones and safe houses, and they're off limits for gameplay during school hours. Violations will result in elimination for today and a deduction of 10 citizenship points. So again, I want them to play fair. I want them to play during the times that they need to, but not any time that may or may not be prevalent for them. So again, looking specifically here, again, last but not least, maintain behavior that ensures the continuation of the simulation. Any misconduct may lead to the termination of the simulation. Again, I don't want them tackling each other. I don't want them doing any of those kinds of things. So I got to be very specific in this, as well as with some of the digital aspects of this. They need to make sure that they're following all of the rules. So gameplay and rules so far, what I want to try and see them do is with an elimination process, when they're eliminated for the day, all of their cards and their lanyards will come back to the top here, and then all of the ones for the CIA will come over here. Again, there's capturing and interrogating. So if you capture a spy, you have to get their tag, you have to get their card, and you have to do best of 3 rock paper scissors because that makes it harder. They'll also get more points, but again, then people can either lie about objectives that they've done. They can tell you who's a certain type of card because certain cards are worth more. They could tell you where a safe house is or who a mole is. I'm still kind of putting some of that together on the fly, but it's definitely putting together. So, lanyard regulations. When you have your lanyard, you can either hold it in your hand, you can attach it long ways on a backpack. We do allow them to have backpacks in class, or they have to be loosely held, fully extended uh, on your arm. They can't be in a back pocket, they can't be around a neck, and they can't be completely hidden in a backpack either. We don't need any grabbing or groping or any of that kind of stuff. And again, violations we're gonna probably take into associated penalties on that. The goal is to run this for 2 weeks. I have 2 scoreboards here that will detail out the different objectives they can get, the ciphers they can get, and the daily totals that they have. Obviously, I think I broke something over here on the KGB one. I'll have to go back in and fix that. But again, eliminated spies will get points for the opposite team, but then spies that survive will also get points for their team. So there's a win if you don't want to grab people, just survive, and if there are, then you shouldn't. If you're more of a cipher type person, you like solving puzzles and codes, that's where that's going to come into it. And then objectives, there's going to be lots of different objectives that we have to talk about. So that's a major portion of the game as well. The gamification, excuse me, the simulation as well. So when we're talking about some other major points here, so when we're trying to organize who's going to be who, each American history class, and we have 4 of them, will be divided into KGB and CIA teams. There will also be moles, depending on who I decide the moles to be. Team members will receive a playing card and a lanyard, like you've seen before. The KGB will be diamonds and hearts, and the CIA will be spades and clubs. Each team will have 4 spy masters that are responsible for maintaining and updating blacklists. The blacklist right here is subject to a Google form, and that Google form then they can change different players and who different people are, whether they're an ace, a king, a queen, or a jack. Those can also be then used for various missions, or they might be worth double points. So if you have someone who's participating and they're a king but they don't want to participate that much that day, then maybe they swap with a different person, and that's where again we can keep that accountability to our spy masters, and our team structure will flow quite well. So that's very, very good. When we talk about point allocation, the biggest thing again is that standard clothespin targets going to be 5 points. Clothespin and lanyard capture is going to be 30 points. If you survive for your team, you get 5 points. Gotchas, these are going to be 50-point minimums. There needs to be a referee and a picture showing us that you actually did it. If you get the cipher, it'll be 30 points and negative 30 points if you don't get it. Again, this will make sure that there is buy-in every day. We were kind of talking about that last week in our discussion board, and I saw with questions on the next discussion board that, with e-learning, you need to have buy-in and accountability. This is the buy-in and accountability. If you don't have your lanyard or it's not in the open, that's 5 points per violation and subsequent violation. And I will take it from their grade. I do make them play this for a grade. Again, it's 100 points. VIP targets, depending on when and where they get them, the points will vary. That's in their objective packets. If you miss a VIP target, that's minus 100. Retrieving data on time. There's lots of different spies that will be having data that they have to go get. Again, if they don't get that, negative 100. Find out if there's a mole. I've already kind of established on here that there are moles, but they have to figure out who the mole is. If they don't get it, then the mole will get 25 bonus points throughout the simulation. And then other teachers have challenges, so they can go do all the different challenges and all these other things for different points for next year, for different reasons. And again, we have people that we have, like IXLs that they have to do. We have other different types of review that, maybe the teacher doesn't want to give a grade for it. So then we can, build that into, hey, I will give them 10 points in this game if they do it. Again, this helps to build that intersectionality and then also build that interdisciplinary type of curriculum that we want. So, how do you use the clothespin? The clothespins are about the size of a nickel. They're very, very tiny. Again, if you're attacking the spy in my room, you have to clothespin them right there. It goes back to the wall of shame that we saw in a previous spot. Again, if you want to capture somebody in the best of 3 rock, paper, scissors, you have to get the tag either on the card or on the lanyard. Again, this is also where we're striving to get these kids not to like tackle each other, but be sneaky about it. The sneakiness is a big part of this. Again, they're spies. They're supposed to be like worried and anxious about certain things, just like the real Cold War was. And again, this is why it's such a big thing to try and reemphasize that we're trying to be sneaky and not trying to tackle each other or do anything of that nature. Gotcha cards. Gotcha cards are just sticky notes that I have either labeled or done other things like that. It's based on the honor system, but teachers can referee them. I tend to give them out to teachers because, especially if they have a kid that's like misbehaving, or if they have somebody that they just want to help me out with, etc. I give them plenty of clips. I give them plenty of sticky notes just in case they want to play. It's always fun for the teachers to get involved because now not only are you worried about students, regular students, but you're also worried about our other teachers that could get you as well. Again, there must be a photograph of this, whether on your phone or maybe a teacher can take a picture of it for you. Once the tag is used, it has to come back with the lanyard to the wall of shame, and it's worth 50 points. So again, big things here, violations. If you're found in violation, we've already talked about the points you'll lose in the citizenship points. Not having the tag will cost citizenship points for the day and account against your team, and violating them more than once will be removal from the simulation. Multiple violations will result in the ending of a simulation. Again, we've never really had a major issue with different simulations I've done in the past. This is a really big one that I'm kind of revamping after several years. I haven't done it quite in quite some time. And I definitely have not done it to this scale. We normally just stick with the breakout EDU lock boxes, but I think this is actually going to work really, really well. Again, my target audience for this is my 10th graders, but you could do this with any kind of Cold War focused social studies course. Again, it's to actively engage them in hands-on learning and all the other different objectives that we weren't able to cover. Again, if we're going to talk about this, the curricular goals we're looking for is understanding the Cold War, thinking and problem solving with all the different strategies and making quick decisions and mirroring real life intelligence operations, collaborations and communication. Again, you may need to work with a KGB agent. You may need to, give away something to get something. We'll have different safe houses around the school, different lockers and things. Again, this gives them a lot of perspective because they're going to be role playing as spies. And again, it definitely makes this more tangible and memorable. The simulation aligns with the Ohio Learning Standards 22 through 26 learning statements, and then the OCSS, or the Ohio Council for the Social Studies Standards 1, 4, and 5. The benefits and potential challenges. I think the benefits are we're going to have active engagement. The third quarter is always really, really tough. We got to give them something to get jazzed about. I think this is going to be a really big one. We're going to have team building. We're going to have critical thinking and development, and increased motivation due to competitive and immersive gameplay. Again, I think I've structured this and stair stepped this enough to where the kids that want to be on the attack all the time will be on the attack. The kids that want to do ciphers will be on ciphers. The objectives will be able to be mapped out. Now, the delivery part of that I'm still working on, but I think it'll work out quite well. And if not, well, we'll save it for next year. There's some potential challenges. Again, ensuring fair play and monitoring compliance. I've already spoken. I've already spoken to my admin about this, so it does work. They are on board with it. Again, the balancing of that competitiveness, I already managed. The logistics, again, is going to be kind of tough, but I think it should be okay. I have to physically put the card up on the wall. I believe, will probably need more clips just because they're cheap from Amazon, and hopefully I'll order some here soon. But then again, the big thing is also just making sure that we restricted by areas, and then making sure we're not having people take the game too seriously. But we'll see. Um, I think building this type of simulation wise, I can definitely use something here for World War II espionage or other conflicts with the Breakout EDU boxes. I think I can also definitely integrate some things now that I haven't in the past, like QR codes and augmented reality based missions or online code breaking challenges. I'm a little hesitant to do anything online too much, especially with AI now, because it kind of ruins, kind of like their critical thinking ability, but it could actually work out well. Again, this is cross disciplinary. I've already had them build all sorts of different things. And again, we do work with our English and our robotics department and all these other different departments, so that tends to work out really, really well. Again, we could possibly do a global collaboration. We are part of the Hands Across the World club. We actually are partnered with a sister school in Japan, so this might be something interesting to speak to them about. We'd have to talk with our club supervisor about that. The biggest thing is, again, this is going to offer a dynamic, engaging approach, and that this is going to be memorable, hopefully, to the point where they will always think of this as a really cool opportunity and something that they can definitely take going forward, and that this is going to be much more interesting than simply just going over all the different facets in class. Not that we won't cover the basics with some study and a notebook or two. So I think this gamification is going to be really, really good. I think it's going to lead to a lot of great opportunities for kids to really do some in-depth searching, and then also some practical code breaking techniques, as well as some critical thinking techniques. And I have to say that I'm very excited to actually implement this as a big playing gamification kind of simulation for the year. It's been a long time since I've been able to do something like that. My student teacher is going to help me, and that's going to be a really great help to make sure that this kind of goes off without a hitch. So I'm kind of excited that this class allowed me to build this for that, and I'll hopefully be able to check in on how well this goes. So thank you very much.